Welcome to I Finally Get It. This week we have Anna Olivier, owner of Jim Olivier's Home Improvement and Roofing Louisiana. Joining me in studio today, as always, Dustin Webb, our producer. I'm your host, Jeff Martin. Let's get it. Anna, thank you so much for coming in. I'm so glad to have you.
This is my pleasure. I'm excited about this.
Good.
Yeah.
So the show is called I Finally Get It.
Okay.
After being in business for a while, what is it you finally get?
All kinds of things. 26 years in business, I've learned a lot. And this is just in this business. Prior to this, I was an RN.
Oh, wow.
I've actually built 5 businesses. So, yeah, I have a very diverse background and diverse experiences. So I graduated from UL in nursing. Uh-huh. And so I worked in healthcare for 17 years before I retired from that. And Jim and I started this home improvement business. And then I moved to another business that was a direct party plan kind of business, uh-huh, where we did home spas on spa parties. And then, yeah. So it's just a few of the things that I've done.
Yeah, you
so
did roofing and all kinds of stuff.
Yes, God has a sense of humor. Yes.
So I know you and Jim started Jim Olivier Home Improvement, right? So that's one of your main businesses today, right?
Yes. My 2 main businesses is Jim Olivier's Home Improvement and Roofing Louisiana. We have a location here in town, and we service Acadiana. And then a year ago, we expanded to Alexandria. So we're serving all the way up to Pineville, Marksville, Voyles Parish, and all the way to Lake Charles, all the way down to Morgan City. We go everywhere.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you'd be doing what you're doing today?
Never. As a little girl, I did not dream of roofing and windows and doors. No. No, did not.
And especially even as a little girl, you may have thought of nursing, right?
Yeah, well, I really wanted to be a teacher. Actually, when I was a little girl, I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah.
So let's talk about the inception kind of story. Mm-hmm. Jim, I think, was in broadcasting.
He was in broadcasting.
You were in nursing?
Yes, right. And I was in nursing. So he was in broadcasting, started in radio at 16. Oh, wow. Yes, a lot of people don't know that. And then got a job, I think at 18 or 19, this was before my time, with KLFY doing French, because French was actually his first language.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and so he was doing the weather in French on the weekends, and then it just progressed to over the years to where he hosted the morning show Passepartout for 25 years, and then did the noon show, Meet Your Neighbor. That's actually how we met. I would go on there because I was in healthcare, and I was the president of the state association and what have you. And so I would go on his program. That's how we met.
So he met his neighbor and made him his
he did.
wife.
made me his wife.
That is outstanding. Yeah, that is great.
Yes. And so we started the business because he was doing a lot of he was a marketing genius.
Yeah.
He saw that there were very good products, but there wasn't a good service company. And we felt like, Acadiana, our neighbors, deserved a good service company and deserved to have good quality products on their home. Yep. So we started this business for that very reason. And it's still been our focus of customer service, follow-up. In fact, it took us 3 years, but we worked very hard to perfect, and we have now a red carpet customer experience. We took everything people hate about contractors. Yeah. And we fixed it.
So that, I need to get in and hear this.
Yes. So, and we know that the contracting industry has a big black eye.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to create a different experience because we work hard for our homes. It's the largest investment we'll ever have, right? That's right. It's just terrible what happens to people breaks our hearts. So we are different in that respect.
I love the red carpet, right? White glove, red carpet. Yes. I love that. What are some of the things that people have said they hate, and how do y'all turn that on its head?
It starts from people don't answer their phones.
They don't?
Nope.
You're right.
They don't answer their phones. If they answer, it's an answering machine or an answering service. So we actually have a live person that answers the phone that is part of our organization, that is on call.
That's huge.
Up until about 8 or 9 at night, then they go to sleep. They have to sleep.
At some point.
And then on weekends, so holidays, so you can get us. If you fill out a form online, we get a ting, on our email, and we will call you even if it's on the weekend or early evening. So right there, you're getting a live person who can schedule, who can answer questions. It's huge. Even if someone is calling because they have a service issue, they're getting us. They're not getting whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. That's always frustrating. So we start with the very first entry into our business. We set appointments because a lot of times, because I've experienced this myself, I'm also a consumer.
Yeah, sure.
And I've experienced this where I needed some services done at my home, and it was like, text me if you want me. I'm like, okay. So I text them, and then they didn't make an appointment. I'm like, when are you coming? Well, when I have time. I'm like, well, when is that?
Yeah.
So we go by appointments. We make sure it's convenient for you. We go in the evening. We go on weekends. From there, we have a written estimate. A lot of people just shoot them a price, ballpark. Yeah. We give you a down to the penny price. And then all the way through, we have a very unique system of communication after the sale, letting them know, because everything we do is custom.
Yep.
And so it doesn't, you don't get it tomorrow. It has to be custom designed or custom crafted for your home. So it normally takes several weeks and, what have you. So we keep the lines of communication open.
And that's huge.
It is
and that's
huge.
Another big major black eye.
Yes. And then we're so blessed. We have very high standards for our crews, our installation crews. They're drug tested, background screened, because these people are in your home. And we want to be able, I need you to be comfortable that I have someone you can trust. You can trust me. You can trust. And then we've focused really, really hard on the cleanup, because that's something that it's in fact one of the calls, and I call every customer myself. And one of the calls I made Friday, the gentleman shared with me, he says, when you guys left, my house was cleaner than when you arrived.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's huge.
So, and there's all kinds of other little small things that we do, but that's the basis.
I found so interesting, as you said, we took 3 years to get this right. And so it had to be looking into it, researching it, figuring out, probably asking customers. Mm-hmm. I think of Chick-fil-A, who, when you say thank you, they always say, it's my pleasure.
Yes.
It took them 3 years to get that throughout the entire system.
Yes.
So on one hand, it's kind of crazy that it should take 3 years, right? But another thing, if you're going to do it well, do it right, you have to
test it. You have to train.
That's right.
You have to retrain. It's one of the things that we actually say is my pleasure. I actually went to a conference where I had a very intimate meeting with the gentleman that was a vice president for Disney of their customer experience. And they shared how they do their customer experience. And so I got a lot of ideas from there as well, because, that's the standard, Chick-fil-A and the Ritz-Carlton and Disney. I mean, if anyone's been to Disney, it is magical.
It's magical. You're right.
It is.
You're exactly right.
You leave the Disney grounds and it's not magical anymore.
You're back to reality.
You're back to reality. People of our community, we want our neighbors and our friends to have this good customer experience with a good quality product that they deserve. And we're very proud.
Amen.
Yeah, we're very proud of that. Yeah.
That's right. One of the things you mentioned was about you drug test your team members. I used to be in the drug testing business.
Oh, really?
And I had a contractor, and I think he had 22 employees. And he said, Jeff, if I drug tested, I wouldn't have any people to build my houses.
It's hard.
So forget about it, though. It's hard, but you do it.
I do it. Yes.
And so that is huge.
Yeah. Yes.
It says a lot about y'all.
Yes.
I know your husband passed away.
Yes, he
did. And it had to have been hard. But you kept this thing going, and you've grown it.
Yes.
People need to hear about how you've been able to put that together.
Jim died very suddenly.
Yeah.
He was 57. It's been 16 years next month. It'll be 16 years. He was 57, had a massive widowmaker heart attack.
Yeah.
Here today, gone the next second. And it was pretty devastating. And at the time, I did have another business. I had my spa business that was going on. And the Lord had blessed me. I was very successful with that business as well. One of the things that was said to me at Jim's funeral, because it was, obviously our world was rocked in so many ways. And anyone who has experienced a sudden death or even an expected death, it changes, everything changes. Yeah. And one of the things that someone said to me at the funeral, and I wish I could remember who it was, but they were such a blessing. They said to me that the best way that I could honor Jim was to continue to live my life to the fullest. Because when you experience something like this, you just want to you just stop the world, then get off at the next stop, parachute off. I don't want this anymore. That was so pivotal because of course I want to honor my husband. Of course we want to, when we have a devastating loss, when we have a devastating life change, we just want out. Stop.
Yeah.
It's too painful, be it through divorce or loss of a child or loss of a spouse or a parent, any loss, any great loss. You just want it to stop. You want the pain to stop. So when I could focus on, I want to honor my husband. I want this business. It was our legacy. It was his legacy. That's why we
had his name on it.
We had his name on it. And we continued. It's like, this is his legacy and to honor him. And he was so beloved through the community. But beyond that, as we've expanded, other people don't know. And, it's been 26 years in business. We have a whole new army of buyers. Let's see. So it's 26 years. Jim was off of the air. I don't know, don't quote me, but several years before. Mm-hmm. So there's, maybe our army of buyers never knew who Jim Olivier was on Passepartout. And so we have to build our own reputation and our own culture. And so we did that to honor him, but also to honor, the legacy and to honor the people that we work with and the people we serve.
We serve and work with.
Yes. And so that was just really, really pivotal as I prayed about things, I felt like I needed to resign my position with the other organization and focus on this, which I did. And that was very hard. I can't, none of this was easy.
Yeah.
A lot of prayer, a lot of faith. And continue to just focus on and do and look for other opportunities and how can we expand. We expanded the product line. We've expanded the service area. I actually bought the roofing company 11 years ago. It was a nice addition to the product line.
It's adjacent, it's the
same customer, same exterior, of the home. Then with the expansion, it was just an opportunity. We had served some customers up there after the storms. Mm-hmm. And people kept saying, man, we need a good service company up here. We need a good service company. So after much prayer, because that's a thing, when you take that step, because we opened an office and everything else. So, and it's been, a really big blessing, and we've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and we're there to serve them, honor them as our neighbors, and honor God in everything that we do. So
I love that. I've heard you mention the word serve or service. Mm-hmm. we need to put a count on that, right? But you call your business a service business.
Yes.
You're a contractor. You're a home improvement company. You're a roofing company. Mm-hmm. But you keep saying we're a service company, mm-hmm. and I'm gonna tell you that's a big deal. That's one of the light bulb moments, right? And I think everybody needs to realize, am I a service business or do I have a product that I'm selling? Mm-hmm. And you got to figure that service part out.
Yes.
And you've obviously figured it out.
Yes, we've worked very hard on it. We have weekly staff meetings where I give them the feedback, because we hear it when we're not perfect.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes someone isn't happy. They may not be happy for the moment, but our goal is you will be happy by the time you will be happy, because sometimes things just don't go right. We try very hard, but we do focus. We've looked at part of my hospital experience, obviously in a hospital setting. At the time, we used to call it quality assurance. Mm-hmm, it was where you looked at everything that went wrong. You did a root cause analysis on it. Mm-hmm. And I've brought that same concept to these businesses to say, okay, if we had a situation, what was the cause? Why did we track our callbacks, we track our warranty calls. Yeah. We don't want that. We have a program we implemented several years back called Zero Defect. That's what we want, 0 defects in everything we do, from the time we answer the phone to the time the taillights pull out. We don't want any defects in anything we do. And when we have them, we look for patterns. Sometimes it's a one-off, right? We're not perfect. No one is perfect.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we look for patterns, and when we see patterns, we start making changes to our processes. We're always tweaking what we're doing so that we can serve with excellence, and that people, again, they can be just thrilled with what we do, because we're there to serve the customer. Without the customer, we don't have anything.
That's exactly.
It's not about us. It's about you, as our customer. Right. We do want to serve you and make you feel like, the unique, special, amazing person that you really are. So, yeah.
I'm just listening and I'm taking it in, because I learn from everyone, but I'm hearing the common denominator from your nursing to your planning business, you really taking over Jim's business and then expanding that in so many ways. Common denominator is you. And so you obviously know what you're doing. And I love that you're talking about service excellence. You're talking about zero defects and, making sure that quality assurance, things are just done well. What has been some of the challenges? Because I'm pretty sure it was challenging taking over that company.
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Now, in all transparency, Jim and I started that home improvement business. Yeah. You never saw me. You always saw Jim. But with my nursing background, and I was in hospital administration, upper hospital administration, I learned budgets and, all the things, the business side of business. Yeah. And business principles are the same, whether it's healthcare, contractor, media, broadcasting, the business principles are business principles. So I took the things that I learned there and then began to apply them in our business. I had backed out of the business because it had grown to where we could hire people, and then I went and started something else. And because it's hard to work with your spouse. Anyone who works with their spouse. Yeah. So we found that was best.
That's a good move.
But when he passed away, I knew the business. I knew everything about it. The only thing I did not know was marketing. And I still am learning that. That is such a moving target in the last 16 years. I keep thinking, man, he didn't have to deal with all this stuff.
Social media and
social media, unplugging, there's, streaming television, all the things have changed so much. So I'm constantly learning. So that's another thing that I value is education.
Here we go. you hitting all of them.
Yes, is that you have to continue to educate and train yourself. And then I train my staff. So I am a big proponent of that. So
what's next for the Olivier companies, if you will? You got roofing and home improvement.
We are looking at further expansion. We don't see why we can't continue to grow. We've created a model that we are now just putting into the next location. And then, we have that strategic growth. We have like a 5-year plan for strategic growth and expansion, but we want to take a market because every market is different. We are very blessed from a marketing perspective in Lafayette and in Alexandria is that there's local TV programming. TV is still very strong. It's such a strong media, but it isn't the only thing. And a lot of people aren't watching TV. And, so you got to find them. Where do you find your audience? You have to know your audience. We know who our customer is, but where we thought our customer is not where it's not where they are. Yeah. We have some here, but it's like, oh, gee, look at this whole thing, this whole population. And so we've, even in that, we analyze everything we do, every advertising source. We're always about numbers, looking at sources. You have in business, if there's any business person, you have to know your numbers. You have to know.
No doubt about it.
And even if you're not a numbers person, get you one.
That's right. That's right.
You have to know your performance indicators. Again, it's in any business that you're in. So we are looking at further expansion, looking at markets. We're doing some mild recon right now, looking at other places that we can go. Looking at our state with what happened a couple of years ago with the 2 hurricanes back to back. So much of the state was affected. And so much of the state have had their roofs redone. Especially when you go west, they had all their windows done. Their whole house had to be redone because of the devastation, 2 back to back like that. So, but that doesn't stop us. There's still people out there, and we are looking at further expansion. And we're always looking for excellence in product offerings. We're always looking, is there something new we can do? Is there a new product we could pick up? But what we have defined is we know who we are. Yeah. We're not trying to be everything to everybody. Yep. We've defined who we are and what we do, because it's better to focus on 1 or 2 things and do it with excellence than try to
agree more.
Can't do everything.
When I coach with business owners, you'd be shocked when I ask that question, what are you built for? And they can't answer it. You know what I mean? They go, I haven't really thought about that. Yeah. And if you try to go out of what you're built for, you're going to have a tough time.
Yes. When we started, we did, in fact, that, our name, Home Improved, Jim Olivier's Home Improved, we did have a vision of doing all kinds of things. Yeah. But we quickly learned that that was not a good idea. Let's focus on a few things and do it with excellence. And then once we get that down, then you add maybe another product offering that's of the same vein. Because one of the things that we have done is we've cross-trained our staff to where we had, while they're two separate companies, everyone knows everything about both companies,
That's wonderful.
including the production folks. That way they can move back and forth, which gives them job security, as well as they know. They just know what to do. So, yeah.
I think of that name, Roofing Louisiana. I think that's pretty, you know what you're built for.
Yes, everything, from a certain level up is what we do. Anything below that, the other company will do.
Yeah. That's
and then
wonderful.
on the inside, no, call someone else because we don't go inside at all.
Yeah. So you mentioned vision. Do you feel like you've taken Jim's vision, his original vision, and continued on with that?
Absolutely. Yes, because he did a lot of marketing for a variety of all industries, because back in the day, he used to do remotes almost sometimes 5 days a week. So he was in businesses and he saw what businesses of various venues, what they were doing. And anyway, so his vision was to have that quality and that service. And what we, so yes, I've taken that, I aligned with that, because even coming from healthcare, you can't make too many mistakes in healthcare. No, people's lives
pay
are
for it. Yeah,
at
you're
stake.
right.
So there is a level of excellence and perfection that needs to occur that I was trained in healthcare that I could transfer to the same thing. And whereas, with your home, we can pretty much fix anything. We don't want to have to. What a nightmare, right? So yes, I've taken that vision, I aligned with it, and make sure that we actually have posted our mission statement, our core values. We review them so that everyone, what does it mean to you to walk in integrity, or to be honest, and those kinds of things. Yeah, it's posted everywhere. So they carry a little card to remind them. And so it's important. It's very important, because what I do share with them, because I am, Jim was the face of the company at the time. I'm now the face of the company. My face is on that roof. My face is on those windows. And it's like, not only is my face, but your face is up there too. And so if you wouldn't want your face up on that roof, or, on that door or that window, then we best do it right. So they know that. Yes.
And you hold people accountable,
we do.
It sounds like.
We do. Yes, we do.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
I'm just kind of interested that, you mentioned when you were a little girl, you didn't think this, or... What did you dream of when you were a little girl? Because it's not roofing.
No, it was not roofing or siding or windows or doors. I grew up in Hawaii.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. And so my dream was to be a teacher. I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to travel. You'll know my age when that song, Me and You and a Dog Named Boo.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So dating both of us now.
Yeah. So my high school graduation dream was to get a motorcycle, an Irish setter, and a girlfriend, and we would ride the United States on a motorcycle. So I was a wild child. And so that my vision was to teach, actually.
Gotcha.
And I actually have some of that fulfilled in the fact that I'm always teaching my staff.
Weekly meetings?
Yeah, weekly meetings,
right.
Weekly trainings. And then I teach Bible studies, and I do discipleship classes at my church. And so I'm actually fulfilling that dream of teaching, but in a different way than I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't get the dog or the motorcycle.
So, Hawaii connection. I'm just kind of. Did you meet Carol Trusclair in Hawaii? Because she lived there for a while.
Yeah, I know. No, I didn't. Isn't this fascinating?
Yeah.
No. In fact, I was rather shocked when I found out that she had gone to YWAM, I believe it was, in Hawaii. No, my mother was born and raised in Hawaii. We're not Hawaiian. But my mother was born and raised there, and my father was from Lafayette, and they divorced, and so we went.
So that's how you ended up back in Lafayette?
In Hawaii, and then I ended up in Lafayette at graduation. He sent me a ticket for my graduation, and I came here. And I really enjoy being able to travel, because when you live in Hawaii, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But it's an island. You go around it, and and I was I got a little bored, so I wanted more adventure, and I wanted to see more things than the beach, and But it is a beautiful place to visit. A lot of people retire there.
It's the only state I've never been to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I think I need to go.
Yes. Oh, it's magnificent.
Yeah,
it's fabulous. Yeah.
But so is Louisiana.
Absolutely. That's where I live, you know, so we have our own different set of beauty and the people are wonderful and the food is wonderful. And
So who would you say inspired you the most? You're all about service. You're all about integrity and like walk with integrity. I love that. And quality. Like who was your real inspiration there?
Probably my mother was bringing us up, you know, that we needed to be good, honest people, you know, to do the right thing. As a kid, we had a 5 and dime that we went to, and I stole a watch. Uh-oh. It was one of those little plastic watches. It didn't even work, you know, right? Just plastic, but I stole it. And when we got home, she saw it and she asked me, you know, she knew she didn't buy it. She dragged me back to that store and she made me confess to the clerk.
Outstanding.
And hand it back to her and apologize. Well, that was like, okay, that was the most humiliating moment of my life, right? And I was, I don't know, 5 or something, 6, whatever, however young I was. But she was teaching back then.
No doubt about it.
You own up to your mistakes. You don't steal, you don't lie, you don't cheat, all the things. So she probably really did try to instill in us to do the right thing. You know, my grandmother would always, the golden rule, you know, do as unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so I think those things were ingrained in me. And then when you get into healthcare, it has to be excellence.
Absolutely.
You know, so that coupled with that training is just a part of my life.
My last question is, how do you leave people different and better just because they met you?
You should ask them. I don't know.
Well, how do you try to leave people different and better?
This is something I also learned from Jim. Jim was the master at making people feel so special. Obviously, being a celebrity, if you will, we could go nowhere where he was not recognized. Even we were in like Canada, we were in France, and somebody would recognize him going, oh, I was a little boy or a little girl, and I used to watch it with my grandma and Papa.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes. Yeah. We were on our honeymoon and somebody came up to us, you know, and he was always so gracious, always so gracious. And he would say, you know, without my audience, I'm nothing. I really learned a lot from him as what he would do. He would always find something to compliment somebody on. And so I thought, you know, that's really good because at his funeral, we had, oh my goodness, I can't even, I mean, they shut the whole funeral home for his funeral because it was packed. And people that he just touched in the community were coming up. People I've never met, I've never seen again, would say just how he made them feel so special just by how he treated them. And so that, you know, I carry that on. I learned that from him. Just, you know, treat people with respect and dignity and, you know, compliment them and listen to them, make eye contact with them because there's so many people that are in the limelight that we've probably all experienced where like they can't give you the time of day or they make you feel like a flea or something.
Yeah. Correct.
And he never did that. And so it's like, okay, now I'm in the line. But again, even if I wasn't in the limelight, even when I go, like, you know, they don't know who I am in Alexandria, I still try to treat them with that same kind of, absolutely. So that they feel special because so many of us, life beats us down and we don't feel so special. So
and you never know anybody's story.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And so you look at how does God see this person? I don't care who they are or where they are. Let us have the eyes and the heart of Jesus so that we can be the hands and feet of Jesus to them, to love on them. You know, it's so important.
Thank you for tuning in to I Finally Get It. For more information on Anna and what she's up to now, visit our show notes. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you're a business owner or entrepreneur and you have a light bulb moment that you think would help other business owners, please email me at jeff@ifinallygetit.com.